All right, good morning, family. It's Tasha, MAMABEAR prepping. You already know what time it is, baby. Get your drink, pull up. Let's talk about it. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we just talk about preparedness. I really just talk about what me and my family do. Different ideas, hopefully that will help inspire you to start taking control of your own destiny, start doing stuff for yourself, start preparing your home to weather bad days, right? And crisis. And as different things come at you in life, you're ready for those things when they hit you, okay? So we're going to get into a topic today. So I know a lot of people have been, just feeling it, right? Feeling just overwhelmed, exhausted, high anxiety, stress, don't have enough time to get it all done, right? The anxiety of I'm never going to get it done. I'm not ready. I'm not as far as other people. But I know that there's also people that are stagnant, feel like they have done enough, maybe are just bored, know that there's more to do, but are bored and looking for other ideas, things to do. I kind of just put a list together of projects, if you will, different things that you could learn, different ideas of stuff that you could take on right now in case you were looking for something new and different and wanted to keep the juices flowing as far as knowledge and learning things and learning how to do things and maybe doing new things in your pantry, okay, from food preservation. Maybe it's learning a new skill, whatever it is, right? Maybe some of these are like challenges of, hey, why don't you try this? So I'm basically came up with 20 things, projects, ideas, things that you could do if you haven't done them yet. And all these are kind of cool things. Some of these things, you guys, I haven't done myself and are actual goals for myself. Okay, so let's just get into it. There's no certain order. I'm just going to do it and then I'm going to circle them as I go to make sure that I get them all. But I'm pretty sure I have 20 of them. So one, I said, make your water filtering system. So your homemade, we've talked about this a couple times, make your homemade filtering systems, kind of like your own Berkey, right? You can either do this with 5-gallon buckets, 2 5-gallon buckets. You can do this with 2 of the steel pans, cook pots, right? This, I just said, there's stuff on here that I've been telling myself I'm going to make these, that I'm going to make like 3 sets forever, you guys. So if you do not have a large water filtering system in your home, this is something that you can do. About $40, maybe even less, depending on the different materials. Some of the stuff you might already have, like the buckets, let's say, for example. But depending on what materials you already have, it's a decent price to make this and well worth the investment as far as being able to filter larger portions of water, right? So super, super important. Next thing I have is pack your evacuation bags, right? If you have not packed bags that are your go bags for an evacuation, a quick exit, meaning they come through and say the neighborhood's on fire. You've got to leave. You've got to leave, right? Your bag is already good to go, right? There's a major storm pushing through, a hurricane, whatever. It's coming right down your path and they say to evacuate. You make a decision as a family to do that and to listen. And having that evacuation bag, okay? Just a quick bag, has a couple days worth of clothes, has some food, has some waters, has some money, right? Some cash for a hotel, has your important documents, or has your important documents are ready to go to just be able to be thrown into it. But it's a quick bag for you and your family to be able to get on the road, right? Has some chargers, has some stuff already kind of in it so that when you're scrambling, trying to remember everything, there's less to remember because you've already prepared and you're not doing it last minute. Okay. Next thing I have is do a sourdough start, right? This year was my first time doing a sourdough start. I was not successful my first time. I'm actually on my second batch now. Very successful so far. I actually ended up purchasing a sourdough start, but you can do that and then feed it and keep it going if you're a little less genius, I guess, like me. I just could not do it, but you can do it from scratch, right? There's all types of recipes from building from scratch a sourdough start. I think it's cool though, because there's all types of stuff that you can bake from the discard. And then also it's something that you can keep. It's in your preps and then it's already ready to go for delicious rolls, breads, all types of stuff later. Okay. I think that if you are a sourdough lover in regards to bread products and sourdough products, that you're doing yourself a disservice when it's something that I know that you can build and learn how to do, and then you'll have that and be able to continue to have the type of, sourdough products that you like now. Okay. Next thing is making bread. So this is simple, right? Go on YouTube, find out what kind of bread you want. Do you want to do a loaf, right? Do you want to do a big round, just a basic round loaf? Do you want to do some sandwich bread? Whatever it is you want to try first, do that. Get the pans, get whatever you need, and just make it. Okay. Bread is super easy to make. All you need is the recipe, and then you just make it. I say the only thing that can go wrong, and obviously there's other stuff that can go wrong, but is how it looks. So for me, like I've never made bread that tasted bad, but I've made bread that either I cooked too long, right? Is not as pretty. People on IG and these different places, even people on Discord, right? Making beautiful, beautiful decorated bread rolls with just all, I can't, my bread doesn't come out like that. It comes out delicious and hot, and you throw some butter on it and it's banging, but it don't come out pretty. Okay. So, but if you've never made bread, just make some bread. It's very relaxing. It's not that many steps. It's calming. It's just a nice thing to know how to do. Okay. Next thing I have is project idea is maybe make some cat food or some dog food, or any kind of pet that you have. Googling how to make a homemade meal for them and figuring out how to preserve it, right? Make that homemade dog food, that homemade cat food, figure out how you can preserve it for long term. But just look, there's tons of stuff on the internet for homemade recipes, right? So find a recipe and just try it and feed it to your animal and see how it goes. Okay. Next thing I have is wax cheese. This is another one that I personally haven't done yet that I want to do. I've been watching Rain Country. She has several videos of her waxing cheese, and she's just inspired me. I'm like, I could do it. I don't know why it was very scary to me, but I'm about to get a bunch of cheese, you guys, and I'm a wax cheese. Okay. I'm excited. We love cheese in this house. It's just like bread, right? Certain things you'd like to have. Cheese is one of those things. I preserve cheese in a lot of other ways. However, I think waxing cheese is an awesome way to keep a brick of cheese that you can then use in multiple ways for cooking. Whether you can grate it, you could chop, whatever, slice it, but you can use it for multiple things. And when you wax it, you make it, you're preserving it to make it last for a very long time. So super excited. Wax cheese. Next thing I have is cook a meal on your off-grid, grid down cooking option. So if that is, you plan to cook on your wood stove, right? You plan to cook on a cook stove, a camp stove, some sort of butane propane stove. You plan to cook over the fire. You've got some grating, you've got some stuff, you're going to have a little pot and you're going to cook over fire. Whatever your plan is, do that. Okay. If your plan is to take a cast iron pot and make a one pot meal on the barbecuer with charcoal, so stuff like that, non-traditional ways of using your barbecuer, you need to practice that. So just find a meal, put a meal together that you plan to make during off grid, down grid, whatever, no power, and just make dinner that way on that optional source. One, it gives you so much confidence once you've cooked something on it. Two, you get to know the said thing, the degree of heat. Maybe you find out you need to have some extra grating. Maybe you realize, okay, I can't have it so close to the heat. I have to keep it up. Whatever it is. Maybe you realize you don't have the right cookware, right? The right utensils for stirring the food. Maybe you realize, so by you going through the motions, you then realize that you're not ready, and maybe there's a couple things you could do to tweak it to make it better, so that you're not learning on the spot when it really counts, right? Because that's going to be added stress to the situation that's already stressful. But if you've done something as simple as cooked a meal on even that camp stove, that gives you a peace of mind. It's one thing to So when I say cook something like that, it's one thing to cook something like you've been camping several times and you've cooked over the open fire, da 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 da. But the thing is when we go camping, and you know this, when we go camping, you get all your goodies for camping. You get the foods that are, extra easy to cook on a cook stove or to cook in a skillet on the fire, right? You get all the foods and you're used to that. I'm telling you to step outside the box and actually put a meal together, a one pot meal, and then cook that. Okay, cook something that you've never cooked before. So if you've been camping several times and you're like, yeah, I make bacon and eggs over the fire, well, making bacon and eggs over the fire is super easy. Do a pot, put something together, and practice cooking that over the fire. How long does it take? Did you scorch it? Did you have it too close to the heat? All of those things. Okay, so don't just assume, well, I've been camping and I know how to do this, and then you're not quite ready for the type of foods that you might need to be cooking on this open flame. Okay. Next thing I have is make some bar soap, right? Make a candle, make some soap, right? Get you some beeswax, get you some different wax, get you some flavors, right? And just make you some soap. Get some, again, we have the internet at our fingertips. Find some recipes, all types of videos that you can find, and just make you some soap, right? Again, it's something that would be beneficial for you and your family to keep you clean, hygiene. You know how to do it yourself. It's just a great skill to know. Okay. Next thing I have is take a CPR class, right? Learn how to do CPR if you don't know how to do it. It's something very, very simple that could save somebody's life. It doesn't take that long to learn. The basics stay with you. So as the rules change as far as how many compressions and how many breaths and all that stuff, sometimes that stuff tweaks over the years. But if you know the basics of breathing and pumping, baby, you could literally save somebody's life by just knowing how to pump their chest. Okay, where on their chest to pump. I'm telling you, okay, learning very basic things could literally save somebody's life. Instead of you standing there panicked, you have no idea what to do. You might even recognize, I think they need CPR, and you have no idea what to do. And then now you're trying to, I don't know, I saw it on TV once. It's just so simple. Okay. So learn how to do that. It's different on children. It's different on babies, right? So learn the basics, get that stuff, get that skill set kind of started in you. And then even if years and years goes by and you haven't like revamped it, trust me, that stuff is still with you. I would say though, if you've had CPR and you did it years and years ago, go take a refresher course, right? Just go to a new one, get it refreshed. Again, that sense of like learning how to do something is going to give you kind of this inspiration. It's going to make you feel good, like you've accomplished something. Okay, so get that done. Next thing I have is pickle some eggs. Too easy. Again, 1,001 recipes online. Pickled eggs are delicious. A lot of people don't care for them, right? Because they don't like that vinegary, that tartness. I absolutely love them, baby. I love them in a chicken salad. I love them on some noodles. I love pickled eggs, so I could eat those forever. I will continue to preserve eggs in that way and eat them like crazy. Hubby don't really eat them. Kids don't really eat them, but boy, Mama Bear, I can damage some pickled eggs, okay? Next thing I have is, actually, no, I'm going to throw this one in here. This is for my hardcore preparedness folks that probably feel like they've done everything, they have everything ready. Yeah, they're still stacking, but they feel like they're sitting pretty, right? This is something I'm personally working on right now, and I think it's a cool idea, and the people that I've shared it with so far have been perceptive of it, and that is coming up with a medical room. So we're literally calling it like the monkeypox room, you guys, but it's literally a room in your house, an area. This could be a corner, this could be an actual dedicated bedroom, it could be a corner of your pantry bedroom, it could be part of a closet corner, and you take the doors off the closet, right? But it's literally finding a space that you could be able to section off possibly and separate somebody because of medical concerns. This could be for future diseases, future things that happen. You need to quarantine somebody in your own home, right? You need to separate somebody from your own home that's sick, and you have an area to do that. This area could be set up just kind of like a doctor's office, or it's your own personal medical pharmacy, right? This is where you keep your meds locked up. This is where you keep your medical supplies. This is where you fix somebody up if they get cut, or you need to do some stitches, or you need to set a bone because somebody broke their arm. But this is where you keep everything, okay? I've got this old little back room area, not really a bedroom, bigger than a closet, right? And it has some built-ins already. And so I'm going to convert this into, our monkeypox. We're joking that it's our monkeypox room, but really it's for any kind of disease moving forward. The room, if it's big enough, you could put different cabinets in there, section off stuff for different things. You could place for your vitamins, place for your tinctures, your holistic stuff. You could dry herbs in there. I mean, this is kind of my idea of all the things that I will be having in there. All my extra teas, my dried fruit that is would be medicinal uses, any of my medicinal plants that I dry or anything like that, vacuum seal, whatever, would be in there. I basically extra hygiene, medical-ish type stuff, right? That isn't really like medical per se, like adult diapers, extra tampons, pee pads, different things, all the extra things that maybe we need in our old age, extra canes, walkers, the toilet seat thing, basically elderly type things as we get older, right? So just everything I'm encompassing in this space. Now, I get this if some people don't have a space like this, that's fine, but think smaller then. Take a room, take the closet, take the doors off maybe, then makeshift that corner maybe. Maybe it's some way that you're able to put some drop cloths down, to fashion some walls, some plastic drop cloths that you could throw up to fashion some walls, or blankets. But just think it through. Think it through, what you could do in the situation, in the place that you live, your home. How could you do it? You live in a studio, you live in whatever. Typically, if you live in a studio, you're probably not living with people, but let's just say you are, and you need to just figure out which corner of that studio you would block off, okay? Maybe you get some cots, right? You don't have really the space, but you're like, look, this corner of the studio or my one bedroom living room, this is the space that I think would be good the easiest to section off. Get you a couple cots, a couple camping cots, have them in a closet somewhere, but then when you need them, then you pull those cots out, and that area is for somebody that's sick, okay? Just think it through, okay? But this is kind of a bigger project for people that have been doing this for a while, have quite a few preps, kind of have this stuff probably staged in all different types of ways. But to me, it's bringing it more to life as far as making it realistic of what that space is meant for, okay? Next thing I have is build a tote and bury it. Again, maybe you've been doing this for a while, you have quite a few preps. This is, get a tote, get a plastic tote, heavy duty, fill it with food, fill it with some defensive tools, with some defensive seeds, fill it with just a little bit of everything for everybody, right? A little bit of pet food, some medical supplies, a little bit of everything, and bury it. Just make it a project. If you've never done that before, you've never done any kind of cache, just make a tote, look at your backyard, figure out where you want to bury it. I don't care if you rent, okay? If nobody is looking and you're able to dig a hole in your backyard and you rent, dig a hole in the backyard, okay? Do it in a spot that would be easy to, first of all, dig it up when you leave, and to fix it, right? Don't do it where there's grass, right? There's nice, pretty green grass. No, go to the flower area or the plant area where there's bark. Push that bark to the side, dig your hole, bury the tote, put your dirt back, and cover it with bark again. And either way, you have to pull it again or whatever. It's easy to fix that and make it nice again when you have to leave that property, right? Because it's a rental. Just be super smart about this, okay? And build a tote and bury it. Again, your sense of accomplishment, your sense of like, I did something, I'm prepared. There's something that I've hidden from people that is a could help me survive later if stuff went left and everything was taken from me, and or I had to leave and I came back to nothing, whatever. That's a sense of security that's buried there in the ground there. Next thing I have is cook meat over a fire. So I put this one on there because, again, a lot of people camp, a lot of people barbecue, know how to make some burgers and some hot dogs and some, know how to make some meat over the barbecue or something like that. I want you to try to cook a piece of meat on a stick over a fire so that you can experience what that's like, the pros and cons. What are the tricks to doing that right, cooking it correctly, right, to where it's cooked in the inside, but you're not burning the outside. Pick a meat that's not one that you've done over a fire on a stick, like a hot dog or something like that. Pick a piece of meat, even just a piece of chicken, put it on an actual stick, and you try to, cook that over an open fire, however you're going to do that, okay? And practice that. Because again, we watch this stuff over and over on TV, and you don't really know what that feels like, how hard it is. So just experience it. Just know what that feels like. And so when you have to do it, it's not that bad, and you're not burning food, wasting food. You're cooking it properly all the way through, but without burning it. So that you don't get sick from not doing it properly, okay? Next thing I have is jar up, or project that I have is just jar up some snacks, right? Take some jars, take some of your favorite crackers, favorite chips, whatever, pretzel bites, whatever your little favorite snacks are, and jar them up. Put a vacuum, either vacuum seal them, put a oxygen absorber in there, vacuum seal them, and just have these jars full of snacks. Get some candy, get some M&Ms, put them in the jar, and vac seal them up. Okay, you could do Mylar bags, put some snacks in some Mylar bags, and oxygen absorber, and close them up. The only thing with those is they could crunch like if it's chips or something that's more brittle that could break. Once that oxygen just keeps sucking, it's going to combust the bag, and then your items are going to get crunched, right? So I like more brittle type stuff like chips or crackers and things like that. I like putting in jars, okay? Can that not be beneficial sometimes for the space of the jar and the type of whatever it is, crackers or whatever? Absolutely. But you've got to do what you got to do to utilize the jar space, right? So maybe if it's a larger cracker you're breaking those crackers in half before you're jarring them up, okay? But just have fun with it and get some snacks. See what the family wants to do. Hey, I'm going to preserve some snacks. What do you guys want to preserve? In a rainy day, you wanted some stuff. What would it be? And then you preserve those snacks, okay? Next project I have is build a rocket stove with bricks, right? Get some bricks, figure out where you're going to do it at, right? On some kind of cement area, on your porch, in the back, whatever. And build you a rocket stove, right? A stove made of bricks that you're able to put some sticks and some wood in, catch on fire, start a fire, and then the top of it, you could set a pan of some sort and cook. We just talked about cooking, over an alternate source. You can make the rocket stove and then cook a meal over it as well. And just make sure, hey, that you know how to do it. How hot did you need the fire? Did you scorch the food? Were you able to do it without being able to regulate the heat? That type of thing, okay? Next thing I have is make a batch of fire cider. So fire cider is, holistic, big batch of tea, if you will, a brew that you boil up that is strained, and then you would drink, and it's like for cold remedy, right? A lot of people make this in the wintertime. Make a batch of that. If you don't want to make a batch of it, you're like, it's summertime, there's not a lot of, because it's only lasts so many weeks. Maybe you dehydrate all of the ingredients that you would make your fire cider with, and you just keep those bagged up together, vac sealed, and then when it's time to make it, you pull out those, hydrate them up, and then cook them down and make your batch, okay? So just fire cider, making a batch of fire cider, or getting ready to make a batch of fire cider. Next thing I have is get your ham license, right? So to operate a ham radio, you have to have a license. There's, some studying that you do, and then you take a test, and then you'll have a number, and you'll have a license number, and you're able to actually operate a ham radio without getting in trouble. Now, if things go total left, it's like the end of the world. Nobody's going to be checking for, a ham radio license, right? Do you have your No, that's not going to be a thing. However, it's important because one, to legally operate it, you want this, but two, think about it. If you're taking a class to study, to learn how to do it, you're reading a book, whatever it is, you're now teaching yourself how to use the ham radio. You're learning about the ham radio, because if you've ever have a ham radio, looked at a ham radio, they're not the easiest to understand. They're not the easiest to just sit down in front of and just operate, right? As far as just, when I say operate, just finding a channel and figuring out what you're doing, right? You don't need this to have a ham radio. You don't need it to listen on a ham radio, but you just need it to be able to talk on a ham radio and actually utilize it. Okay. But you don't necessarily need it to just receive information. But again, if you don't know how to use the ham radio, how much can you actually do and use it? Okay. Next project I have is ferment some honey garlic. This is my favorite. I do this all the time. So literally you're taking your favorite honey, you're throwing a bunch of raw garlic in it, closing it up, letting it ferment. It is so delicious on everything. I put it in everything. It leaves you with obviously the softer garlic that you can cut up and put into all types of meals. It takes it, if a lot of people don't like garlic because of just how pow it is, right? How strong it is. Well, this takes that away. So then it's more sweeter. It's not so pow, right? That strong garlic taste. And then it leaves you with this beautiful tasting honey, that's garlic flavored honey that, again, I use in all types of marinades and stuff. So huge fan, very, very easy to do. It doesn't take any time at all, and it's one of my favorites. So absolutely love it. Next thing I have is take a defensive class, right? Learn just the basics of being able to get out of a hold, get out of a grip. Somebody has a gun to you, a knife to you. Basic defensive protocols of what you would do, okay, to get out of a certain situation. Really, that situation is just to buy you time, right? Knowing how to break free of something could literally save your life. Okay. So take a defensive class. Next thing I have is, am I down to my last one, you guys? Let me look. I've circled all this stuff. So I guess this is my last one. I have, pressure can your Thanksgiving turkey now. Again, this is something that I'm about to do. I watched a video where a lady put a whole turkey in her pressure canner, cooked it first in the pressure canner, then took out all the cooked turkey bones, everything, poured it out, jarred it up, put the juice in it, right? Filled it up with the broth that had cooked at the bottom, and then pressure canned that turkey into jars, right? Then with the leftover bones, the broth, all this stuff, she could boil it down some more, make some broth, or she could jar up the broth that was left over. You could make different stuff with the bones. I mean, there was just a ton of stuff you could do with this one turkey, right? And so many projects with the one turkey. Well, I'm thinking more of just basic. I want to have turkey on the shelf and plenty of it for Thanksgiving, because who knows how things are going to be when we get to winter time. We do not know if we're going to even have turkeys with bird flu and everything going around. We don't know how much they're going to cost when we finally get to the point where everybody and their mother's trying to get a turkey. So it behoove you now to get turkey, however way that means for you, getting turkey on your shelves now. Okay. So whether that's doing it the way I just said, maybe that's just you cook it in the oven, you take off the meat, you pressure can that. You've got to get your turkey on your shelves now if you expect to have it for Thanksgiving. Okay. Do not assume it's going to be here, one, and then do not assume that you're going to be able to afford it when it is here. Okay. Because with bird flu and all this stuff going on, it's not just chickens, you guys, with bird flu. It's birds, right? In general. And so you're going to see an uptick in prices. You're going to see this stuff, and that's several months from now. and this inflation stuff is not going anywhere. We are going into recession, okay? And so if you don't get it now, you know, don't be thinking for a fact you can get a turkey for Thanksgiving, okay? On the same fact, it's on the same hand too. If you do ham for Thanksgiving, right? Get your ham, get your chunks, put into jars with some broth, and get it pressure canned. Get your ham and your turkeys now, right? It's worth the time to preserve it. The time that's going to go into it, because you have several projects that you're going to get from that, and to not be wasteful of the product, right? So it's a big project, but you've got to do it, okay? All right. I think that was it. Hopefully this gave you guys some ideas of different things that you could do right now. I would love to hear in the comments below what you guys are doing, what's your projects, what little fun things are you guys doing or learning how to do, or projects that you want to get done, and share that with the group, because giving each other ideas is what keeps us going. I love just learning and seeing new things, like, oh, I want to try that. You know, oh, I never made ghee. I want to make ghee. You know, whatever it is, right? I'll be on TikTok, see some, homemade, what was it? It was like homemade cough syrup, right? I want to try that, right? So when you see different projects like that, different things, share that stuff. If you have some cool stuff, it could be something simple. Hey, I'm making strawberry jam, whatever, but share it, because that gives people ideas and it helps inspire people to keep going and keep doing fun stuff too, right? This shouldn't just be so daunting and so heavy and so depressing that we're preserving food and that we're getting ready. It shouldn't be just have some fun with it. Relax a little bit. Do the things that you want to do as well, right? Take care of the things you have to do, right? But food, water, meds, but do something that you enjoy as well, okay? And I will see you guys tomorrow on the next video. Blessings from my bear cave to yours. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.